Hello and welcome to the Be Fairy Afraid podcast with me, Louise Atkinson.
And me, Fiona Ridgewell. And we thought we'd talk about all the ye olde fairy tales, myths and legends that we've been chatting about over the drink at the pub.
That's right. We thought instead of the original sweet and nice ones we all know and love though, we look at the more dark and sordid ones as they were originally written. A bit more interesting. This week we're covering Charles Perrault's Riquet-With-The-Tuft, where we're talking of French fairy tales, whether beauty's in the eye of the beholder, and
my insurance claim.
And my egg freezing party. So stay with us and listen to this podcast. And in the words of our good friend Jean-Baptiste Basile,
close your mouth, open your ears and listen to what I've got to tell you. Something like that.
Something like that. Let's just get it on.
I'm not a poet.
Putting these fairy tales to the test, talking all things magical, mystical, but sometimes not very sophistical. Be very afraid, someone actually wrote this story down. Be very afraid, why are all the women wearing massive gowns? Why is he kissing her without her consent? What on earth is going on? Will they figure it out what this story's all about? Oh, be very afraid.
How's it going?
Oh, I like the way you said that and just immediately laughed. How is it going? Well, I mean, this is episode 2. So I was about to say my usual upbeat self, but if it's only been one episode, people don't even know that that's my usual demeanour.
To be fair, I feel you effervesced such a high level of energy in the last episode that it's probably carried over. You just have a natural bubbliness, like a soda stream.
Like a bubble.
like
a hot air balloon.
Like a hot air balloon.
Just talking shit now. I'm a bit moody.
Bit mardy today.
Yeah. But I reckon I can get out my funk.
Right.
Do you know what? I really look forward to, as an adult, someone reading me a story.
Oh.
And I didn't know that's what I needed in life. But it turns out, guys, as an adult, if you're feeling stressed, it's because no one's reading a bedtime story anymore.
Even these stories where they're horrible to each other and somebody's been tortured or being left in a basement with a pickaxe or whatever it is they're doing.
I hope it's not a heavy one today. Is it heavy? Is it heavy? Answer the question, Louise.
It's actually not. It's actually quite a nice one today.
Is it? Right.
Yeah.
But that's your version of nice, isn't it?
You want to talk about why you're mardy, or you just want to blow over it completely?
Someone smashed into my car.
Fucking hell. As well, if you're not watching this on YouTube, the red mist that descended across Fee's face.
Someone smashed into my car when I was in it, and then went, sorry, I just needed to do a 3-point turn. And I was like,
hang on, so was it a man or woman? I hate people, so this is right up my alley. Was it a man or woman? A raccoon? What's it going?
It was a man with a lady. She was in the passenger seat, so I'm not letting her take any responsibility.
What, you're just in the middle of a main road and does he try to do a U-E, Phil?
Yeah, so I was driving, I'd say, south to north. And he went,
what? What kind of coordinates is that to absolutely nobody? Unless you're maybe like Santa.
Well, when you've been on the phone all day to your insurance company, south to north fucking means something.
Fair enough.
So I was going south to north, and he went east to west across me. Without a crossroads being there. Just he made his own road. And then, he just smashed into the side. And to be fair, I was a bit shaken up. And
yeah,
I
you
thought,
would be.
Well, and it was raining.
Oh, God, so it's like a horrendous film.
Yeah, so I thought it was good. I think I shut my eyes. Oh, can we leave that in?
That one's going to help the insurance company on the other side, innit? And how was your sight? Well, blind.
Closed them. Put my hands in front of my eyes. Couldn't see nothing.
Since I set off, wasn't even at that moment. Probably part of the problem.
I was looking out the back window. I was looking south. I was going north. I was looking south. No, you know when you put your foot on the brake and because it's raining, you're like, well, this ain't stopping. So I think at that point I sort of braced and shut my eyes.
Oh, God.
But it actually wasn't as bad as I thought. But I've already rang the insurance company and I reckon I should just settle that cash.
No.
No, is that not a thing?
But it is for dodgy ass people.
Oh, is it?
Like, just to say this.
I think my boyfriend's dodgy. Because he went, did you ask to settle cash? And I went, no, I didn't. He went, oh, you idiot.
Well, because it helps doing it in cash means you can keep like your no claims bonus and
Oh, God,
stuff
I've
like
got
that.
about 20 years of those. Are they going? That's not true.
Oh no.
Are they going? I protected them. Oh, we can't talk about this now
Let's
because
not
the story
talk
won't happen.
about it.
I'm going to cry.
There's only so much a fairy tale can do.
Why couldn't you see? Because of the tears. The tears. I just saw 17 years, no claims, just floating away from me.
But did he took the responsibility?
Oh, he said sorry.
Well, there you go. That's accepted
Yeah,
responsibility.
is it?
Yeah.
And I said to my insurance, this is boring. I said to my insurance company, can we claim off him?
Right.
So I'll see what I think she was new. She didn't seem to know what was going on. You know, when you get a new one, she was new.
How did you know she was new?
Because she was like, she was asking me stuff that I'm pretty sure was on her screen.
Isn't that how it works? Like she has to ask you the questions and you have to answer them. That's not a woman bad at her job. That's a woman doing a job, to be fair to her.
No, like about my policy. Like, when did your policy start? I'm like, you got to be in charge of that bit. Surely. Do you know what I mean? As if I did have it to hand actually, but I think that was up to her. And then I gave her a date for something. She went, and I went, well, actually, that was the wrong date. It's this date. She went, oh, yeah, because I would have got in trouble for that, not you. And I thought, yeah, because it's probably on your screen and you're not checking it. Anyway, she was nice.
Anyway, my new best friend at the insurance company.
Very helpful.
Very helpful.
I won't mention what the insurance is called. And I'm new to them. It always looks bad, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? How are you?
Better than that. I'm sorry you had a rubbish day.
That's all right.
But I'm all right. I went to an egg freezing party last week.
Well, that's better news than
Right?
you should have started with that.
It's called Let's Be Chill.
Oh my God, what happens?
Basically, it's
Do you want to talk about it? It'd be weird to bring it up.
it'd be weird if I just went to an egg freezing party and now to the fairy tale.
and then just got a party popper pop back.
Whee!
Once upon a time.
In the depths of an egg freezing facility.
Oh God.
You rock up and basically there was this doctor. She's very sort of passionate about getting more women to check their fertility and looking at egg freezing and fertility options for women who get older, because she is a big believer that it detriments the gender pay gap and all this other hilarious stuff that's going to be great for this comedy podcast. But yeah, then there was just a load of us there and we're just there to learn about it. And this is really, first of all, there was so much about my body I did not know, because she started off and she was like, right, we'll just cover the basics of how you get pregnant in the first place. And all
You didn't know that bit?
No, I did. It's with a sort of balloon and a cracker, right?
No wonder you're all at an egg freezing party. You're like, how does it happen?
Is this GCSE biology all over again?
What goes where?
Can you use a crisp packet as a condom? Thank you. No, but we all like rolled our eyes going, oh. And then she just sort of did all this stuff that happens internally. It was like, what? The sperm goes where? How does it work? How's the egg being made? What? And it was just mental. But it was really good. But the thing is that was really good. It was really useful. I encourage anybody to go to. Also, they did a percentage of paid tickets and free tickets because she just desperate to get people knowledgeable. She was really good. But they gave us a little free stationery set. And the problem was I got so distracted by that because I love stationery.
Has it got eggs on it?
It didn't have eggs on it, but it was like it was a really lovely like little plastic folder that's like a reusable one. Mm-hmm. And then in it they had like a little notepad and a pencil and all this other like and some stickers. And I was like, oh my God, there's a notepad and stickers. And she's like, we're here to talk about fertility. I was like, but the stickers. And I just feel I might have wasted some of the evening getting a bit upset because I started just sticking the stickers to the folder. I was like, I'll personalise my folder while I'm here. Like I was 14 in maths class. I was like, just personalise. I heart, blah, blah. Like, I was just, where's me gel pens? I'll get going with them.
Did she go over fees?
She did, and she's a lot cheaper than the other ones I've seen. Because
Is she personally doing it?
Yeah, because she said the reason it's so expensive at other ones is because they go through like several different people. Where she said, everything goes through me.
Okay.
She was just really good. And
Did
I
you
really
get a referral code, Louise?
a referral.
I might have
Refer
that.
5 friends.
Is it like Pure Gym? Do you get a referral code? Can I come to the next party?
But yeah, do you want to know the story we're doing this week?
Yeah, we should probably crack on and do that.
Do you want to do that?
Please, yeah, that's what I'm here for. A lovely little story. What are we doing?
We're doing one by Charles Perrault. And again, I'm going to apologise because he's French and I'm going to butcher the French language this episode.
So we're just going to leave it at the French.
I'm going to butcher the French. So Charles Perrault is very well known as being like one of the main fairy tale storytellers.
Okay.
From like the late 17th century, she thinks. And he's the one who wrote the Mother Goose fairy tales, which, you know...
Oh, I know the Mother Goose.
Yeah, so, like, they're all the ones in it. I've got this fancy-ass book. Do you like my fancy-ass book? They're all full of just Charles
that one
Perrault.
doesn't look smelly.
My other one didn't look smelly.
No,
So-
like, you know when things look smelly, like
It
museum,
didn't look smelly.
like museum stuff that smells. Places like museums and stuff, the smell of them make me feel sick, yeah. Anyway.
What are you on about? The smell of museums make you feel sick?
It smells
There isn't
old.
a smelling in a
No,
museum.
it smells like I've dug it up.
What are you talking about?
When you next go to a museum, have a good old sniff and you'll be like, it all smells really old in here.
I am not going to the British Museum and just standing there going, ah, yes, smells like stolen artefact. Like, I'm not doing that.
There's no airwick in the British.
Nowhere. So Mother Goose Fairy Tales is what he wrote, and that has Sleeping Beauty, Little Red Riding Hood, Bluebeard, Puss in Boots, The Fairy, Cinderella, Riquet-With-The-Tuft, which is the one we're doing today.
Who? Riquet with a who?
Riquet-With-The-Tuft, that's the one we're doing. We'll delve into that in a sec. Hopper, My Thumb, and Beauty and the Beast. So that's all Charles Perrault.
Yeah,
There was also a couple of others he did, which aren't in here. They got edited out over time. But I think we're going to do them in another episode. I'm just going to put it out there.
Let's get right
Little
into
teaser. But so he wrote Riquet-With-The-Tuft, but he didn't.
Is this Riquet? Like, Riquet?
And this, well, I wanted to talk to you about this because it's French, so it's Riquet, so it's Riquet, and it's like a family name, so it'd be like, I don't know, John Riquet. But because I'm from Hull, me continuously throughout the story going, Riquet-With-The-Tuft just sounds a bit wank. So I can either go Ricky-With-The-Tuft.
That's my ex-boyfriend. I think we have to go Riquet.
Do you remember in the last episode where you mentioned that you just drop in your exes in all the podcasts you do and you wish you didn't?
Mickey.
Oh, they'll never guess that. British intelligence level occurred there. Well done. So I can either go Riquet-With-The-Tuft for the story, Ricky-With-The-Tuft, or I have to go like full EastEnders and go Riquet-With-The-Tuft for the whole episode.
Oh, so the last two are quite similar.
Or we can pick a new one.
What, we could just change his name?
Well, no, it's something with the tuft, preferably with an R that sounds a bit like Ricky.
Let's just go Ricky.
Riquet
If
with
I
a
have
tuft.
PTSD things throughout the episode, whose problem is that?
So,
Mine.
yeah,
Mine.
exactly. Basically, everyone thought Charles Perrault wrote this, but actually it was written by a woman called Catherine Bernard.
Right.
Because Charles Perrault was part of this big group of writers in the 17th century that were big on bringing back fairy tales and folklore and all this stuff. And there was big fights over it because there was either... What I love about this is, for those of you that don't know Fee, she's so kind and so polite. And she's looking at me right now going, oh, Lou's having a lovely time waffling on about something I don't give a shit about. But she's having a good time, so I'll let her crack on. And I really appreciate that.
Don't do that. Don't, you are in your element. You go. You sound like
You're
me on
just-
the phone to the insurance company.
Whilst you just play part of the Shrek musical in your head while I'm telling you all of this.
I know it's today.
Anyway, so there were these two groups, and Charles Perrault and Catherine Bernard, and mostly female writers,
Yeah.
were part of this group against this other group, because there was another group called the Ancients, and these were the moderns. And the Ancients were like, we should only ever be talking about and studying classic literature, which was like Greek and Roman writings, like Aristotle and all this. And they were like, no, we should be looking at everything. And that was why it was mostly women, and they were mostly talking about it. And Catherine Bernard was like a huge part of this.
Okay.
And she originally wrote Riquet-With-The-Tuft. And Charles Perrault did his version of it. We don't know if he stole it off her or if what was quite common in that time is working together and doing different takes on your own fairy tales and stuff like that. Because that's the big thing about fairy tales is it's being told again and again and again. So you have to make sure you know who's translating it, what time it's written in, because that has a huge effect on how it's portrayed.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
So it wasn't a bad thing necessarily if he did his own version, but it's his version that's become famous and hers hasn't, even though hers was written first. So Charles Perrault, I feel like I've spoken a lot about Catherine Bernard and not enough about Charles Perrault, even though it's his story. But do you know what? He's had enough attention in his life. Fuck him. One interesting fact about Charles Perrault, though, is he was really good friends with Louis XIV, and he was the one that banged on about having so many fountains at the Palace of Versailles.
Do you know what? I can see Versailles in my head. Not the place, the spelling. Versaille.
I don't even know how to begin unpacking that sentence like you just said. I can see Versailles in my head. The spelling, not the place. I do.
Is that in France or Spain?
France.
France, yeah. I think I've got to go there at some point.
I'm sorry.
When I suggest holidays to my boyfriend, I suggest places I would like to go, and then he suggests museums and art galleries near those places that he would like to go. And I believe when I said about going to Paris, he mentioned Versailles. And that's how I know how to spell it, and not see it.
Are you dating me and I didn't realise?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. Riquet-With-The-Tuft, Charles Perrault. You ready?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Off we go. Once upon a time, there was a queen who gave birth to a son so hideously ugly that it was long disputed whether he had human form.
Is that in the Queen's opinion, or is that everyone else?
I think it's a united decision based off this story.
To be fair, I know we only just started the story, but I said to my mum recently, because I was talking about egg freezing, and I was like, oh God, I'm a bit worried I'll never have children. I said, oh, and my friend, my mum went, oh, well, you've got Reggie, which is our dog.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, and I said, yeah, but my friends say, like, when you have kids, there's no love like that. And my mum went, oh, I don't know. She's the only mum to disagree. Every other mum I was speaking to is like, oh, there's no love like it. My mum's like, I don't know, we've got a cockapoo, and I think that pretty much outweighs what I feel for you.
A fairy who was at his birth, however, affirmed that he would be very amiable in spite of it, since he would be endowed with an abundance of wit. Yeah.
All funny.
So he's going to be like proper smart and that, so it doesn't matter that he doesn't look great.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's going to be
true, though, is it?
Well, we don't know, do we? So she even added that it would be in his power, by virtue of a gift she had just given him, to bestow on the person he most loved as much wit as he pleased. So if he falls in love with someone, he can make them as witty as he likes. That's his superpower that the fairy's just gifted to him. It's gone up in your world now, Annie.
I was about to say, I think I've got that superpower as well.
What? You think whoever you speak to, you make wittier?
Yeah.
Sure.
I won't mention which ex-lover, but...
Yeah, we're real good at keeping that on the DL here.
I used to say to my friends, because I worked with one of my ex-boyfriends, say, oh, but he's so charismatic and he's so funny. And they were like, no, I don't think he is. So I think I did that.
You dated somebody you worked with, never piss on your own doorstep.
No. I think it's shit on it.
Oh, yeah, this is why I would never date comedians.
Yeah, well, this was at TGI Friday. Yeah, there I am. I'm giving it away.
There it is again.
Okay.
Fuck me.
Carry on.
Your mouth, it just falls stuff out, doesn't it?
Never tell me a secret.
You would be so awful as a spy.
I'm really bad as a jury service member.
What a precise job for you to say at this moment in time.
I know, because I've done it 3 times, and I know.
You've done jury service 3 times?
Yeah, and they keep asking me back.
Why? It's not. You
don't
get like a how did I do sheet to fill in, do you?
I don't think it's selected at random.
I think one of them there is pretty keen. They were like, she's making all the barristers real witty from just being here. In she pops.
I don't know, court seems more fun when Ridgewell's around. What are you going to do?
Oh, also, to be fair, if you are you there because you're the grass? Because if anything goes on with the jury, you're like, I can't keep a secret, so here's what's going on with the jury.
You're not allowed to tell anyone about the case whilst the case is happening.
And you're telling everyone who's passing by.
I might have spoken about it on a bus. Who knows?
Christ. The insurance lady is well informed. All this somewhat comforted the poor queen, who was suffering grievously for having brought... Oh, this is awful. For having brought such a deformed monkey into the world.
Oh, my God, Charles, what are you writing?
I don't think that's okay. And also, she doesn't sound like a great mum.
She doesn't sound like she's got much maternal instincts.
Can't you have to make her have a burst of hormones after you've just given birth? And she's like, no, get it away.
She got the wrong hormones.
Good grief. It was true that as soon as the child began to prattle, he said 1,000 pretty things, which, with such an unaccountable wittiness that he charmed everybody. So it was true. Once he started chatting, everyone was like, oh, he's so attractive because he's so smart, right? And I love that this is how Charles Perrault has written it. I forgot to tell you that he came into the world with a little tuft of hair on his head. So he was called Riquet-With-The-Tuft, Riquet being the family name. He writes like how I imagine you would write.
Oh, yeah, like...
I forgot to tell you this.
That's how I did some of my work-in-progress comedy shows. I'd go to say something and go, whoops, so we've forgotten a bit here. So what you need to know to get this joke is boom, boom, boom. And then I'd say the joke following it. So, yeah, that's exactly how I write. That's how I speak.
To be fair to you, though, you just said it was a work-in-progress comedy show. This is his published work.
To be fair, when I say work-in-progress, that was probably day 15.
That That was my completed show. 7 or 8 years later, the queen of a neighbouring kingdom was delivered of twin daughters. Her firstborn was more beautiful than the day, and the queen was so overcome with joy that those presents were afraid she might come to harm.
I just find them all a bit shallow already.
Yeah, I think that's fair. All the queens aren't coming off great.
No,
to be honest.
I was an ugly baby.
You're an ugly baby?
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
I was a massive baby.
How massive?
I come out at like 9 pounds.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
It was no wonder your mum was telling you to get out before, was it? Christ.
Yeah, quite a big head and large thighs.
What, you didn't have large thighs as a baby? That's not a thing.
I did. Socks. The socks were tight.
What do you want to... No, that's not... No, you know, that's just your mum bought the wrong size socks. You didn't come out with, like, rugby players' legs as a baby.
Did.
No, you didn't.
I did. I tackled my way out of there.
The same fairy who had assisted at the birth of little Riquet-With-The-Tuft was there too. And to moderate the queen's gladness, she declared that the little princess should have no wit at all, but be as stupid as she was pretty.
Oh, I was about to say I feel her pain, but I can't.
Also, interesting thing here, I thought, because the French fairy tales were really big on fairies in particular.
Yeah.
And it's Madame, I'm going to ruin this and I'm so sorry to any French speakers, Madame D'Aulnoy, who came up with the term fairy tales. But fairies aren't like little pixie.
Oh, that's what I've got in my head.
They use fairies interchangeably. So it was like, they could be witches or enchantresses or anything like that. Because this is like a fairy who's just there at the birth.
Yeah, I'm just seeing a Tinkerbell.
Yeah. So this is like maybe like old woman in court kind of thing.
Okay.
Which is interesting as well because when the Brothers Grimm were writing, they wanted theirs to be really authentically German. So they took most references to fairies out and they changed them to like witches or enchantresses or things like that. So that's why there's a bit of difference there because they're like, oh, we don't want any French references. We're trying to be
well German. Right.
So she's going to be pretty but dumb as a post.
And there's nothing she can really do about that.
No.
No books or museums.
Apparently not. Right. This mortified the queen extremely, but some moments later she had even more to distress her, for her second daughter was very ugly.
Oh.
So she's got twin daughters, one of them well fit, dumb as a purse.
Do you think she's using the phrase well fit, her baby? Well fit is year 10 at school, isn't it? It's not newborn baby.
Well, we'll leave that to others to decide.
Go on then.
I need a voice for the fairy. Well, I think she's like quite...
Well, yeah, what do you think?
I think it's going to be like oldie and witchy.
"Don't upset yourself so much, madam," said the fairy. "Your daughter shall be so witty that her want of beauty will scarcely be noticed."
So the second daughter, even though she's ugly, she's going to be really witty, like Riquet.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm in awe, though, of your voices, but go on.
Thank
They're
you.
really good.
So, God grant it, replied the queen. But is there no way to make the eldest, who is so pretty, a bit wittier? So she's already dismissed the ugly one. She's like, I ain't got no chance of that. But can we make the pretty one smart?
So society was always the same, was it?
Oh, here we go. She's feeling enlightened.
"I can do nothing for her as to wit, madame,"
answered the fairy.
"but everything as to beauty. And as there is nothing I would do not to please you, I will give her this gift, that she shall have the power to make the person who best pleases her handsome."
So...
Oh... This is looking good.
It's looking like it's a match.
This is, yeah. If they was on Hinge, that'd be on your like your suggested matches.
Oh, is that how it works?
Yeah, they'd suggest them. Well, they should.
You're dumb as a post. You can chat. Get together. As the princesses grew up, their perfections increased proportionately. Everyone commented on the beauty of the elder and the wit of the younger. It is true, too, that their defects also increased considerably with their age. The younger visibly grew uglier and uglier, and the elder became every day more and more stupid.
Oh my God, that is worrying. I didn't know you could get... I thought you could only get more intelligent. I didn't think there was a possibility I can get stupider.
And yet here we are, deteriorating with age. Both of us just becoming horrifically simple.
I thought this was my level now, and if I wanted to increase it, pick up a book, but I didn't know it could get worse.
You thought just by picking up a book, not reading it, just picking it up like weights, it'll just by osmosis infiltrate into you. But then you can't go into a museum because you don't like the smell.
Smelly, yeah.
Why don't you just take something like a mask so you don't have to smell it? Or your own Febreze and spray it in front of you wherever you walk. Like, do you know when you used to get ready and you used to have to like spray impulse spray and then walk through it because if you put it straight on, it was too much?
Yeah, I still do that with my perfume, which I think is wrong.
Is it?
Yeah, because, well, when I go into the petrol station, my perfume is strong enough to overpower the smell of petrol because the petrol man goes, "You always smell so nice. What is that? What is that perfume?" And I say, "You thought you was going to butcher the French." I say, "That's La Vie est Belle by Lacombe." So I don't think his wife has got that perfume yet because I am not saying that right for that man. But he can smell it over the smell of unleaded diesel. He can
the
smell
BO of truckers.
He can smell Lacombe. So
I feel much better about doing the French at the beginning now. Thank you so much for that. If she was asked something, she either made no answer at all or said something very silly. So this is the elder princess. The stupid one. And she was so clumsy that she could not put 4 pieces of china on the mantelpiece without breaking one of them, nor drink a glass of water without spilling half of it down her clothes. The thing is that I do that all the time.
Exactly. I am 37 and every time I brush my teeth...
Bit of drip goes down.
Yeah, I have to change.
You have to change. Like a toddler. Why don't you just wear a bib when you're doing your teeth?
I think that'd be admitting defeat.
It's like when people have a go at people brushing their teeth in the shower.
Yeah.
And I think that's fine.
A lot of people do that. I found out, oh my God, do you know what I found out recently?
Go on.
Everyone's pissing in the shower.
What do you mean everyone's pissing in the shower? Who's pissing in the shower?
My boyfriend's pissing in the shower. And then I went on a weekend away and I said to the girls, "Why is everyone doing that?" And they were like, "Yeah, we're doing that." And I was like, "What is wrong with everyone? I'm not doing that."
I don't piss in the shower.
Apparently it saves water.
What, to wash yourself with piss?
Well, no, because you just do it in there and then the water washes it all away.
Oh, I see. So you're not using the water from the toilet, not...
What?
Well, that's how it says what, because you're saying...
Yeah, you're not flushing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just going away. That everyone's doing it, Louise.
I don't think your boyfriend and your couple of mates counts as everyone.
I keep saying that he does it because I think that might annoy him. Maybe it wasn't my boyfriend. Maybe it was one of my ex-boyfriends that does it. Who's to say who is doing it?
God, your secret level of coding is just phenomenal. It really is. Their beauty is a very great advantage in the young, yet it was almost always the younger sister who carried away the prize in every gathering from the elder. People did indeed go first to look upon the beauty to admire her, but they soon turned to the wit in order to hear 1,000 most entertaining and agreeable sallies. So everybody was coming because she was fit, but they were staying because her sister could chat them up.
Yeah, I feel like I know the ending, but I won't ruin it for everyone.
You've got it all figured out already.
I think I do.
What do you think it is?
I think the two ugly people will end up together, and although he'll find out, well, actually, I can make that one witty, the beautiful one, I can make her witty. He's going to realise that actually beauty isn't that important, and I prefer someone who has a natural wit.
Okay.
That's what I think.
All right, we'll note that down. Off we go. Here we go. It was amazing to see how, in less than a quarter of an hour, the elder would be without a soul beside her, while the whole company crowded around the younger. Oh, that's so sad.
I do feel sorry for the beautiful one now, and it's not often I feel sorry for beautiful people.
Oh, it's getting worse. As dull as she was.
Oh, Christ.
He really don't like it, does he? The elder could not help noticing it, and she would have given all her beauty to have half the wit of her sister. The queen, wise as she was, couldn't help reproaching her from time to time, and this too made the poor princess want to die of grief.
Oh,
this is horrible.
She's had a terrible day.
Terrible life, and this is years. Her mum needs to be less of a knob.
Yeah, she's knob.
I don't mean to criticise anyone's parenting, but you can't be, one, not liking your ugly one and going, I have no time for you, and then going to the beautiful one, I mean, you're attractive, but I have no time for you because you can't put 2 and 2 together.
But sometimes, because of the accent, not yours, mine, and the things that I say, people think I'm quite stupid. Mental arithmetics, second to none.
Really?
I'm really good at mental arithmetics. Really good at it.
9 times 7.
Fuck. 83.
Is it?
63. Fuck. Carry on, Louise.
Right. One day, as she wandered into the wood to bewail her misfortune, she saw coming towards her a little man who was very disagreeable to look at, but most magnificently dressed.
Is it Riquet with a little tuft?
Might be Riquet with a little tuft. This was the young Prince Riquet with the tuft. There you go, called it.
Sorry, thanks.
Who had fallen in love with a portrait of her, many of which had been sent out all over the world, and had left his father's kingdom intent on having the pleasure of seeing and talking to her.
Right, so she's having a sweet little
Right, so he's had a
sexy
pit.
cry.
Yeah, so he's fallen in love with her via a picture that her dad sent out to everyone in the world, apparently, and he's been on a mission to find her,
Okay,
and he's just found her.
lovely.
Overjoyed to find her thus all alone, he addressed himself to her with all imaginable politeness and respect. Having observed, after he had paid her the usual compliments, that she was extremely melancholy, he said to her, "Oh, I need a voice for Riquet."
He's French and he's small. I think...
The only French I could do would be Lumiere.
Show me that, please.
Ma chère mademoiselle, it is with greatest pride and deepest pleasure that we welcome you tonight, as we proudly present your dinner.
That's good.
Do that one. Right. He said to her, "I cannot comprehend, madame, how a person as beautiful as you are can appear so sorrowful. For though I can boast of having seen infinite numbers of exquisitely charming ladies, I can safely say that I have never beheld anyone whose beauty approached yours." Thank you.
I'm speechless.
Sorry again to the
fine.
French.
I didn't even apologise to the French when I said lacombe, so I wouldn't worry about it.
It pleases you to say so, answered the princess, and here she stopped. "Beauty," replied Riquet with the Tuft, "is such a great advantage that it ought to take first place among all things. And since you possess this treasure, nothing, as far as I can see, can possibly afflict you." So he's like, "You're perfect to me."
Okay, but he's saying that because you're so beautiful, I'm sure nothing bothers you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow. He's not got emotional intelligence, has he?
This is what I'm saying.
Old Riquet.
"I had far rather," cried the princess, "be as ugly as you are and have wit than have my beauty and be as stupid as I am." Now, I get what she's saying, but she has just met this lad and gone, to be honest, I'd rather be as ugly as you.
Yeah, and I would say that is why people don't want to be around her at parties.
Yeah, I think some of this is actually coming together now.
Yeah, I don't feel that bad for her now.
Yeah, if she's rocking up to people going, "Well, you look like the back end of a bus."
Monter.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to be spending my time around here. Thank you very much. I think, it's becoming apparent now that she might just be a bit of a knob.
Yeah.
"Nothing demonstrates more wit, madame," returned he, "than to believe we have none. It is the nature of that excellent quality that the more people have it, the more they believe they lack it." So the more...
He's talking in riddles. French riddles.
So the more wit you have, the more you actually question it. So you actually think you're less witty because you become less arrogant, is the supposed purpose of this. Because in this time frame, Charles Perrault and Catherine Bernard and the people I mentioned at the start, they had a huge thing of intelligence and wit and the art of conversation. They thought conversation was an art form. And it was really big thing. That's how people were attractive at that time, was through wit and conversation.
But wit, to me, is being quick and funny. Is that also, is intelligence in that bracket of wit?
Yeah, I guess so. Because it's being charming, it's being funny, but it's also this is why they were arguing with all those people going, we should only speak about Roman and Greek stuff, and they're like, no, we should chat about everything. Everything's interesting. We're writing things. We're all discussions and things like that.
Okay.
So him going and saying things like this just seems really in keeping with what they were talking about at that time.
Okay.
And to be honest, Riquet's turning on the charm, because if someone had been like, if I was ugly as you, I wouldn't bother, I would have told him to sling the rook. So fair play for him for styling it out.
But he does know he's ugly, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he also knows he's witty as hell. And he's a prince.
Oh, yeah.
So, I don't think he's going to do that badly in life.
How much do you think a tuft is?
Is that what you've been thinking about for the past 2 pages? I can see it all over your face.
There's a lot going on, but I want to know, in terms of hair, tuft, tiny little ponytail?
I don't think it's ponytail. I think it's on the top of the head. And
Like
a
Little
cowlick.
Island.
That's what I'm thinking of tuft.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, cool.
I don't know about that, said the princess, but I know very well that I am senseless, and from that springs the vexation which is almost killing me. I love that word, vexation. I think we should bring it back.
I don't.
Why? I think it's so good.
I just don't think I'd use it that often.
But this is I think everybody should use. I would love to be like that person and honestly, they vexed me so much. What a knobhead. I just think it just flows so nicely.
Oh, yeah, it did sound nice coming out of your face.
Out of my face, thank you, babe. If that be all that troubles you, madame, I can very easily put an end to your affliction. And how will you do that? Cried the princess. I have the power, madame, replied Riquet-With-The-Tuft, to give to the person I love best all the wit in the world, as you, madame, are that very person. It will be your own fault if you don't have as great a share of it as anyone living, provided you agree to marry me. So he's like, I can make you chatty if that's what you want, but you have to marry me. Which is a bit creepy.
And also, would you believe him? I wouldn't believe. If I was on a date with someone and he went, look, if we carry this on, I think we'll have a right laugh together.
Well, this is the thing. They are even on a date. They've met in a random forest. She's in a wood on her own. And he's like, hello.
Hello.
The princess was quite astonished and answered not a word. I see, replied Riquet-With-The-Tuft, that this proposal makes you very uneasy, and I don't wonder at that. But I will give you a whole year to consider.
Okay.
Which I think that's fair. Like you're actually giving, because usually in these fairy tales, it's like bing bong bosh done.
Last week she came up from the basement. She was married.
Yeah, exactly. So fair play for being like, have some time to think it through.
Yeah.
The princess had so little wit and at the same time so great a longing to have some that she imagined the end of that year would never come. So she accepted his proposal.
Oh.
So she was so fearful that she was going to have to wait another year of being stupid that she was like, do you know what? I don't think I can wait that long. Fine, I'll marry you if I can be witty.
Okay.
Right? She had no sooner promised Riquet-With-The-Tuft that she would marry him on that day, 12 months hence, that she found herself quite different from how she had been before. Suddenly, she had an incredible facility for saying whatever she pleased in a polite, easy and natural manner. So it's worked.
But she's not even married him yet.
No, but she said that she would.
Okay.
Straight away, she began a very gallant conversation with Riquet-With-The-Tuft, in which she tattled at such a rate that Riquet-With-The-Tuft believed he had given her more wit than he had reserved for himself.
Oh.
Bum, bum, bum.
He's going to get,
He's going to get mardy about that, I mean.
Yeah.
When she returned to the palace, the whole court was confounded. They hardly knew what to think of such a sudden and extraordinary change, for they heard as much sensible discourse and as many infinitely witty turns from her now as they had heard stupid and silly impertinences before. I feel that's a bit harsh, because they're going, she's saying so much witty stuff now, and to say that she was saying silly impertinences, that's really harsh, because she's, well, unless she was coming up to people going, you look like the back end of a bus, which she might well have been doing.
It does sound like that was in a
but it's
toolbox.
Because otherwise it's just her coming up going, hi, can I just join in the conversation? And they're going, what a silly impertinence that is. Begone. Like, it's just a bit much.
That's what I'm like at parties.
That's what I say to you at parties. Begone. Leave me be. I want to go home. The whole court was overjoyed. Indeed, it pleased all but her younger sister, who, having no longer the advantage of her in respect of wit, appeared, in comparison, a very disagreeable, homely puss.
What?
It's a bit harsh, that. The news of this change spread everywhere, and all the young princes of the neighbouring kingdoms strove to gain her favour, and almost all of them asked for her hand in marriage. But she found not one of them had wit enough for her, and though she gave them all a hearing, she would not accept any of them.
Okay, and I respect her for that.
I respect her for that. She's gone back up in my estimation. And to be honest, based off the amount of dates I've gone on with men, I understand.
Do you know what? I think I might be quite disliked. I've been on like one date.
Ever?
Well, yeah, pretty much. Like I say, I picked them up at work. And then my boyfriend now, he was my first ever date from a dating app. And
No, but you've been on dates before.
Like, I'd meet him at work and then I'd like talk to him for a few months And then I'd sort of...
But how are you talking to, as in you're going to dinner and talking to them at dinner? Because that's a date.
No, like I'd talk to him at work and I'd be all weird. And then and I'd be like, oh, we should go cinema and stuff. And then eventually we would. And then we'd be a couple. Like there wasn't really a dating period because I'd have known them for so long. And I just sort of...
So you're stalking these people
Yeah,
at work?
I think that's what I'm trying to say. I was trying not to say it, but I basically wore them down. And then we'd go out. Yeah.
Because they were like, anything.
She's not going away. She's been at TGI Fridays for 13 years now. I think I have to date her because I've got to see her 5 times a week anyway.
Anyway, so she's been like, no, you're not witty enough. I'm only used to the wittiest people. Right?
Fair.
However, there came one so powerful, rich, witty and handsome that she could not help having a fancy for him.
Oh, God.
Her father perceived it and told her that she was her own mistress as to the choice of a husband and that she might declare her intentions, which I think is pretty good. Very rare again, because usually the man's like, you're getting married whether you like it or not, whereas he like, do you know what? You can choose yourself. I trust you. You've got 2 brain cells to rub together now. You can make your own choices.
Yeah, okay.
You're not seeming keen on that.
But that's the time you shouldn't have given her the decision. She's going to fuck it up. Isn't she?
Well, this is the next sentence. The more wit we possess, the more difficulty we have in making a firm resolution in such affairs. Which I think is a really nice sentence, actually. It's going, do you know what? The more we think about things, the more difficult it becomes to actually make a decision because we're just so analysing of everything.
Oh, I know that, yeah. When I break up from relationships, I read like 5 books on relationships and then I just don't know my head from a tail.
The same 5 books?
I do actually. I've read The Mountain Is You a lot.
What the hell is The Mountain Is You?
It's a self-help book, but I was going to say it's a good one, but I have had to read it 5 times and I'm not a wiser.
It doesn't seem to have helped you that much.
It's a lot about self-sabotage. And I think self-sabotage is reading the same book 5 times.
Yeah, I don't think, that's worked for you, babe, to be honest with you. It sounds like a load of bull. I can't stand self-help books. I think they're just such a load of waffle. And they all need to be... the only thing they're useful for is kindling. Like, use them to burn things.
Okay. Well, I'll lend you The Mountain Is You.
No, you are right, Tar. I don't need a fire right now. The more wit we possess, the more difficulty we have in making a firm resolution in such affairs. After thanking him, therefore, the princess asked her father to give her time to consider it.
Okay.
So again,
good.
she's going, yeah, good point, Dad, but I need to go think about this.
But then we have just heard that's quite a bad thing.
So she went off by chance to walk in the same wood where she first met Riquet-With-The-Tuft in order to think out what she ought to do. While she was walking deep in thought, she heard a confused noise under her feet, as if a great many people were bustling backwards and forwards, being very busy. Having listened more attentively, she heard one say, "Bring me that pot!" They were from Yorkshire. Another, "Give me that kettle!" And a third, "Put some wood upon the fire." She's gone on the
Grab
Yorkshire.
that self-help book, put it on the fire, get this going.
She's on the Yorkshire moors. What is she doing? At the same time, the ground opened and she seemed to see beneath her feet a great kitchen full of cooks, scullions and all kinds of servants necessary for a magnificent entertainment.
I didn't see this coming.
No.
This is a curveball.
Also, for it to open up under your feet, like, that's terrifying. Like a doom place to go to.
Hell.
Hell, thank you. Out of the earth came a company of roasters, 20 or 30 of them, who went to plant themselves in a fine alley of wood. They stood round a very long table with their larding pins in their hands and foxes' tails in their caps, and began to work, keeping time to the tune of a very harmonious song.
Is this Snow White? Is this Hi Ho?
I don't think so, but it does sound like they're all maybe on crack or something. Like, the grounds open up beneath her feet to make her see a massive kitchen. Then in that kitchen, they're all wearing foxes as hats, carrying around larding pins, and then singing a harmonious song.
Okay.
It's a bit weird.
Yeah, let's find out why.
The princess, all astonished at this sight, asked them who they worked for. For Prince Riquet-With-The-Tuft. Imagine if that is how you're just known. Not even Prince Riquet,
Yeah,
Prince Riquet-With-The-Tuft.
Leave my tuft alone.
He's 42.
Fiona Ridgewell with the scar.
I would read that fairy tale.
Have you seen my scar?
No.
The one on my face.
What one on your face?
By my eye.
Well, you've just moved so I can't see it. Is that a scar?
Yeah. It fell out the patio door.
I'm sorry. You just leave that there?
Yeah, fell out the patio door, smashed my face.
When?
I was 2.
Okay, it wasn't like last week, right?
No, so I've had that all my
I
life.
didn't even know that was there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, so I couldn't really be Fiona with a scar.
No, I might just be gormless, which I am. So it's
Okay, yeah, Fiona with a scar.
that makes you sound like the evil one there. Like you'd be Scar in The Lion King.
Yeah, I need to
And
come
that's
up
much
with a
more
better
my vibe.
story about how I got it.
Oh my God, we should totally do that.
Yeah, we'll do that
And then
next
we'll do
week.
that as an episode.
Okay. Oh, we could write Fiona with the scar.
You can write Fiona with the Scar.
I can't write Fiona with the
And you
scar.
can read it to me. Oh, you want me to write Fiona with the Scar?
Yes, please, if
And then
you
you'll
could.
just be like, excuse me, that's actually very wrong.
If we ever do a live one, you could write Fiona with the scar and I can interject with what I think should have happened. Right, sorry.
I can't see that being problematic at all.
Riquet with your tuft. I keep imagining the tuft, like just a little bit on his bumhole. Little hairy tuft. Little...
Why imagine it there?
I don't know. Because it doesn't say, it doesn't specify it's on his head, does it?
I
think
don't
it
think
did,
so.
actually. Maybe it
it did. So
Sorry.
the princess, all astonished at this sight, asked them who they worked for. For Prince Riquet with the Tuft, said the chef to them, who is to be married tomorrow. The princess, more surprised than ever, and recollecting that it was now a whole year since she had promised to marry Riquet with the Tuft, felt like sinking into the ground. So she's forgotten that she promised him that.
You don't forget.
This is what I'm saying.
You'd wake up remembering that every day.
Especially as you'd got wittier because of it. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this groundbreaking thing that changed my life. You wouldn't
No.
forget that. Right?
She's
What
not
had
that witty. She's a bellend.
What had made her forget was this. When she had made her promise, she had been very silly, and having obtained the vast stock of wit which the prince had bestowed on her, she had entirely forgotten her stupidity. She continued walking, but had not taken 30 steps before Riquet with the Tuft presented himself to her, bravely and most magnificently dressed, like a prince who was going to be married.
Yeah, because he's remembered.
Because he's remembered the date,
Yeah.
and he's rocked up on time. You see, madame, said he, I am very exact in keeping my word, and doubt not in the least but that you are come here to perform yours, to make me, by giving me your hand, the happiest of men. I shall freely own to you, answered the princess, that I have not yet taken any decision in this matter, and I believe I never shall take the one that you desire.
Oh, Christ.
Yeah.
You've had a year to tell him that.
You astonish me, madame, said Riquet with the Tuft. I believe it, said the princess. And of course, if I were dealing with a clown or a man without wit, I should find myself very much at a loss. A princess always observes her word, he would say to me. So you must marry me as you promised. But as he to whom I am speaking is the master of the greatest sense and judgment in the world, I am sure he will hear reason. You know that even when I was a fool, I could not bring myself to promise to marry you. Would you expect me, with all the judgment you gave me, which makes me an even more difficult person than I was then, to come to such a resolution now when I could not do it then? If you sincerely wanted to make me your wife, you should never have deprived me of my dull simplicity and thus made me see things much more clearly than I did before. There is so much in here, right?
What a bitch.
Right? So she's going, it's your fault because you made me smart, for one. And because you're a smart guy, you should know that you took advantage of me when I was stupid and you shouldn't take my word on that, which is not great.
This is like when my friend says, this is my friend saying this is not my opinion, that some men date really like attractive, funny, intelligent women and then they bin them off because that gives them confidence and they think they're these amazing men, but actually they was just dating a really great woman.
Do you know what? Like when me and my friends, this was years ago now, we went to a speed dating event, all the women there were fantastic and all the men were there.
Okay, and moving on.
I'm sure there's a lot of great men out there, but they ain't going speed dating. So lads, get yourself along. But it was just, I was sad I saw her, she had 2 PhDs and another one spoke
That's what I
8
mean,
languages. Yeah. And then there was another bloke who had barely changed his shirt
Yeah.
with kebab all over it and couldn't even spell his own name. And you're like, what's going on here?
Okay, yeah, so it's that vibe, but she's in the wrong this time.
Also, I don't like that Charles Perrault has written this, like, because I'm so smart now, I'm a difficult person.
Okay, yeah.
I don't like that. Like, just because she's a smart woman doesn't mean she's difficult. She's being a bit of a knob, but
Yeah.
that's a different thing.
Okay.
If a man without wit or sense, replied Riquet with the Tuft, would, as you say, be justified in reproaching you for breaking your word, why, madame, will you not allow me the same feelings when my whole happiness is at stake? Why should people with wit and sense be in a worse condition than those without? Can you pretend they should, you who now have as much wit and wanted it so badly? But let us come to the point, if you please. Setting aside my ugliness and deformity, is there anything in which displeases you? Are you dissatisfied with my birth, my wit, humour, or manners? So he's going,
What is it? What is it about me you don't like?
what is it about me you don't like? Because I don't believe a word of what you've just said, sweetheart.
Oh no, you've met someone else, you little trolley. Verbatim is what he's saying.
Not at all, answered the princess. I love and respect all those qualities in you. If it be so, said Riquet-With-The-Tuft, I am happy since it is in your power to make me the most acceptable of men. How can that be? Said the princess. It can be done, said Riquet-With-The-Tuft. If you love me enough to wish it so, and in case you doubt me, madame, let me tell you that the same fairy who, on my birthday, gave me the gift of making the person who pleased me most both witty and wise, has, in the same way, given you the gift of making him who you love extremely handsome. So he knows she has that power, because she's apparently also forgot that.
Oh, and he's still a munter.
I used to believe that's a technical term, yeah.
Oh.
So, if that be so, said the princess, I wish with all my heart that you may be the handsomest prince in the world, and as far as I am able, I bestow that gift upon you. The princess had no sooner pronounced these words than Riquet-With-The-Tuft appeared to her the finest prince upon earth, the handsomest and kindest man she ever saw. Right? So,
Is this about mindset, this book?
Eh?
This story, is it about mindset? Because she thinks that he's now gorgeous.
Well, funnily enough, so the thought here is that her superpower was she could make anyone she loved turn handsome even if they weren't. And his was if he loved someone, it could make them smart. So apparently that is what's just happened.
Yeah.
But let us continue.
Okay.
Some say that this metamorphosis had nothing to do with the charms of the fairy, but was caused by love alone.
Warms my little heart.
They say that the princess, having made due reflection on the perseverance of her lover, his discretion, and all the good qualities of his mind, wit, and judgment, no longer saw the deformity of his body nor the ugliness of his face. That his hump seemed to her no more than the broadest.
Jesus. All this descriptive stuff's coming out the last
I feel
minute.
he should have had this at the beginning. That his hump seemed to her no more than the broadest of shoulders, and that where before she saw him limp horribly, afterwards he seemed to have a lilting gait, which charmed her. And I really think this description should have been at the beginning.
At the beginning, he was just a bit of a short Frenchman with a tuft of hair. Now he's got a hump, a limp. He's grotesquely ugly. Like, I worry about the way these people write. They do write like me. This is important. An hour ago.
They say, moreover, that his squinting eyes appeared bright and sparkling, and their irregular blinking seemed to her he's not having a great time.
That man's gone like, the writer's gone like head, shoulders, knees and toes and like picked something wrong with every part.
They say, moreover, that his squinting eyes appeared bright and sparkling, that their irregular blinking seemed to her like marks of deep affection, and in short, that his great red nose had, in her opinion, something of a heroicness about it.
Weird.
Like Rudolph.
Yeah.
Right. Whatever the reason, the princess promised immediately to marry him, on condition he obtained her father's consent.
Okay, but he's got... The thing is, she can see he's handsome now.
Yep.
But that is an irregular blinking, limping, humpy man going to...
Oh, this is the thing. You don't want to be rocking up to your potential father-in-law and going, can I marry your daughter? And then you're blinking looking like a dodgy wink. Can I marry your daughter? Wink. Oh, you don't need that in your life.
Let's see what the king says.
The king, on being told that his daughter had an abundance of esteem for the... Not love. Esteem for Riquet-With-The-Tuft, whom he also knew to be a most sage and judicious prince, received him with pleasure as his son-in-law. And the next morning their nuptials were celebrated, just as Riquet-With-The-Tuft had foreseen, and according to the orders he had given a long time before. And that is the end of the story. Did you enjoy that?
I did, I think.
Would you like to know how it was different to the original one that Catherine
Give me that ending.
First of all, Riquet-With-The-Tuft was actually, I believe, Prince of the Gnomes.
Okay, fine.
It was a very ugly gnome, that she had been promised to.
Very ugly gnome still sounds more attractive than Riquet-With-The-Tuft was.
But she was still forced to marry him, even though she didn't want to. And she also had a lover. And that was the only... And because she had to leave her kingdom and go and live underground in the kingdom of gnomes with the ugly gnome prince. But she had a lover, and that was all that was seeing her through. And then the evil gnome found out about this and was like, I'm going to turn your lover to look exactly like me, and then you will never determine between the two of us.
Yeah, well, but the thing is with that, the moral of that one is more obvious, isn't it? It's that,
Don't get married.
No, it's that like beauty and aesthetics aren't as important as what's sort of inside.
Is that not what's here?
I don't know. I think we lost it along the way.
You lost it, Charles, mate, along the way.
Because I thought he was going to meet the ugly sister and go with the ugly one because of the wit, and realise that he didn't need to make beauty, because what is beauty? It fades with age.
Yeah.
I keep telling my boyfriend this. It goes.
It goes. But because this is the thing, the ugly sister, who was perfectly intelligent and charming, she's been tossed in the bin.
Yeah, we barely heard from her.
Nobody gives a toss about her.
Yeah.
But then this one, it's said that, because what did he say? He said it's potential that it was just love that made her see like this. So she's, even though he's still not physically attractive, she's still seen all of his qualities as attractive. So he's still not great looking. However, she had to become good looking and be smart because otherwise she was just dumb or just intelligent. Like, the woman had to be both. He just got to be smart.
Yeah, but I don't... is that the moral of the story? Because I don't feel like they cared about, like...
Do you want to have a guess at the moral of the story? Because there's actually... Charles Perrault, he wrote a little moral in a little...
oh, is it?
A little rhyme.
Can I have a clue?
Yeah, the clue is the story we've just read.
Okay, the story we've just read. So she's had to be beautiful, intelligent. Is it not just the old one of, what is that saying? Beauty is...
In the eye of the beholder. Pretty much.
Yeah.
So the one Charles Perrault wrote at the end of this tale is, what in this little tale we find, in much less a fable than real truth, in those we love appear rare gifts of mind, and body too, wit, judgment, beauty, and youth. I wrote my version.
Thank you. I need it.
Yeah, people always look for the beauty within others.
They don't.
I know they don't. So he's talking out of his arse there, isn't he? And appearance does not determine your worth.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That's true.
That's true.
But we are all guilty of seeing a couple and go, oh, how did they end up together?
I think that with so many people I see.
Everyone does that. They're like, why are they going out with him?
Yeah.
Because we are all judgmental pricks.
Do you think people are doing that
and
to you?
that's the moral of Fiona Ridgewell story.
Do you think people are looking at you standing outside a museum breathing fresh air going, how did she get that bloke who's in the museum? How were they together?
How's she with that intelligent, attractive man? Oh, yeah, but he does pee in the shower.
Yeah, so. Which we all know.
And that's how we're together. Please like and subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever it is that you get your podcasts. And follow us on TikTok and Instagram at BeFairyAfraidPod. Thanks for listening.